My name Moneytown Dub with the $ dreams, and I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard.
I'm living La Vida with honey. I'm eating like king of the country. It started with Teddy Alito. No sleep in the dungeon.
All right, so we got Moneytown Dub jumping off the porch with us today. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling great, actually.
Yes, sir, man.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man.
That's
good. It's a
good.
weekend. We in Atlanta, so nothing really to complain about, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else you got shaking here in the city during this trip, man?
I'm actually just visiting family, really. I got family down here. Check out the Trap Museum. Just some things that I haven't been able to see since I was a kid coming here. And yeah, my last time being here was like 2008, 2009.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, lots changed since then too, man.
Yeah.
I feel that, man. All right, so you from Middletown, Ohio, right?
Middletown, Ohio. Dub Moneytown. So
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, you definitely the first one from Middletown to sit on this porch, man. I never heard of it.
No, I'm actually the second.
Second? Who else was up here?
FBG Boomer.
Oh, he's from there?
Yeah, he's
oh,
from
okay.
Middletown.
Okay, my bad, Boomer.
Yeah.
So just kind of talk about like the life, the culture up there, man. What really goes on up there?
I mean, it's a real quiet town. I mean, it's real big on sports. That's what comes from our city. Jerry Lucas from there, Chris Carter.
Okay.
Jalen Marshall, he played for the Jets. He's in the CFL now. And then it's really big on sports culture.
Yeah.
Quiet, a good town to raise your family in. Yeah.
Okay. So do you still live there today, or have you moved out?
I actually moved to Cincinnati. It's
Okay.
the biggest city, bigger city, more music opportunities and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
didn't want to keep driving back and forth all the time because I actually got a residency starting this summer
Okay.
in July at Arts on the Ave in Cincinnati. So yeah.
Really? Well, that's dope, man. Congrats on that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So when did you finally decide to make that move to Cincinnati then?
actually just last year.
Really?
I was
Okay.
bouncing back and forth from Middletown to Fairfield. And then I just moved to Cincinnati. So it was just something. Basically, I knew like I was jumping back into the music game because I took off for 6 years. So.
Oh wow, 6 years.
Yeah, I went through a health scare and then had kids, and now we're here. So, and then my kids are old enough to where I'm like, I want to chase my dreams and don't want to grow up and them looking at dad like, why didn't you do what you really wanted to do? Because I look at my parents today like, did you do what you wanted to do? Like what you grew up wanting to be, and I don't know what their answer is. So I want to be able to give my kids that answer. Like, I chased my dream. Yeah.
I respect that, man. During those 6 years, did you ever lose your passion, or did you ever feel like you weren't going to be able to get back to it?
Not losing it. It was actually what motivated me was my friends, because they was still in the game. They was still doing music. So watching them do it was like, I guess it would fuel something in me, because it was like people would still ask, like my family members, like my brother especially. People would see my brother out and be like, "What's your little brother doing? Is he about to drop an album? What's going on with his music?" And he would just text me, like, "What you doing?" They want to know. So eventually I just jumped back on the horse, like after I was cleared from doctors and stuff like that. And once, like I said, once my kids was at an age I knew I was like have a little bit more free time to sit down and write, or sit down and go to the studio. Yeah.
Were you rusty at all when you first got back in the studio then, or?
I say a little bit, but my boy CJ, he helped fuel the fire, which is my engineer, Jan Lee from Cincinnati, Ohio. So like it was a time where I started going back into the studio. We jumped back in for like 5 months, and then I went through something, and then like life hit, life happens, shit happens. So from there, one day he just called me. I went on a hiatus for like 3 months, and he hit me up. He was like, "Bro, you was in the middle of an album.
Oh, really?
Why? What you doing?" And he was like, every time I play this for somebody when they come in the studio, they ask me like, "Who is this?" And I tell them, "This is my boy Moneytown Dub, but you ain't dropping it. What you doing?" And he was just like, "Come to the studio. I'll give you 2 hours free." And then he was like, "Whatever you pay for after that is on you." So he gave me those 2 hours, and then I recorded 10 songs.
Oh, wow.
I ended up putting 3 hours on top of that, so we was in there for 5 hours. I recorded 10 songs, and that came out with my album, which is Life versus Love and Success. That's what
Okay.
we dropped in March. So
Nice, man, nice. So yeah, we'll get to the album in a minute. So how far back does like your passion for music go? Like, were you making music when you were a kid, or?
yeah, so passion for writing, that's what it really was. I started writing poetry in the 3rd grade. Love poems, getting in trouble by my teacher. And then, like, when I got to high school, I had an older cousin, his name Cedric, but he went by Picasso Portier. And he was an artist, and like he would do these big shows, and like I would go and watch him, and that's what got me in the groove of like doing music. Like, I seen my cousins doing it. I have an older cousin Picasso and my older cousin Var. They both rap, and I just always used to watch them and how people used to like gravitate towards them. And I played sports, which, I mean, like I said, I grew up in a city that was all sports based. They big on that, but I always wanted something else, you know, like everybody who I guess became popular or popping from my city was just like an athlete. So I was like, man, there's something else we can do out there. So I tried writing, and then people started to like it. So
Really?
yeah.
How old were you when you started releasing music then?
19, so I graduated high school, and then once I went to college, I went to Miami University of Ohio, and I just started dropping albums, mixtapes in college, and then people started asking me to do shows, and then that's how it happened. Like, I never even, and this is real, like I never wrote music to want to like be famous from it or get any recognition. I just really done it for a release because it was just something I like to do. And then one day my brother was like, you gotta make money off this. Yeah. And then
So
So
did you end up finishing college, or?
Nah, dropped out like Kanye.
How far did you get, and what were you studying?
Studied creative writing and English. I
Okay.
wanted to be an English teacher or a journalist, so that's why I went to school for creative writing. I jumped major to major, and then one day I was just like, you keep skipping school to go to the studio. And that's literally, and this is the craziest thing, I told my mom, because my mom was a professor, I would skip school and just stay on campus and write music in my car on campus while skipping class. And it was like the weirdest thing. I wouldn't leave my atmosphere, or like, yeah, so it was just, man. So eventually I just figured out, like, this is something that you're just wasting your time. Either you're gonna chase your dream and make money off of it and get into a 9 to 5 to, I guess, feed that dream, because you have to, my mom always say, you have to do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do. So like, I have a 9 to 5 to pay for my music.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's what's up, man. So who'd you grow up listening to? Who were some of your favorite artists?
Method Man,
Okay.
Nas, Jay-Z. My brother was big on Big L. All my music influences came from my big brother playing them for me. Cause like, my mom was into jazz, Kenny G. My dad liked country, it's crazy. And then my brother was hip hop, and my older cousin Chad. So like, they always would play music for me. But Method Man, Nas, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang, all of Wu-Tang, RZA, GZA, Inspector Deck. Like my brother really played 90s hip hop all day. So like, that's what I grew up on. So when you listen to my album, that's what you're gonna hear my influences.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of the struggles or challenges you faced in the industry so far?
Being different. And I know everybody say they have a different style, different swag, but like, I'm literally focused on growth. Like, that's what I talk about. Like, you listen to my album, it's mostly pep talks. It's like really telling myself, or telling you, like, you can do this. Whatever you try to do in life, you can do it. Just put your mind to it. Take steps forward. Don't worry about what happened yesterday, because shit, brush that shit off, and then you're gonna just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Like, I had tumors in my small intestines
Oh, wow.
6 years ago, 5 years ago. And then I had kids, and then now I have a story to tell, and I'm gonna do that. During those 6 years, I went through depression, things men don't even want to talk, black men especially, don't even want to talk about. But we talk about these things. Yeah, so those were struggles, depression, a struggle.
Absolutely.
You know, having 2 kids and working a 9 to 5, living paycheck to paycheck, that's a struggle. Things niggas that really don't even want to admit to the world, but shit, I'm relatable. everybody out here ain't driving Lamborghinis or BMWs or Lexuses. I walk out my door, we ain't seeing that. I ain't seeing that every day. So I'm talking about what the everyday person go through. It's just what it is.
I dig that, man. So how does it feel to be able to overcome all those obstacles that you were facing, and now to be back doing your passion, being able to pursue this?
It feel great. Like, it feel great having my family supported, my city is coming behind it. Like, it was a long time where I felt like I wasn't getting support, and I was watching one of your podcasts one day, and a guy said, you can blindly support something, but I want believers around me. I have believers, and that's the good thing.
Yeah.
So I have that around me. I have a support system. I'm going somewhere. I know I'm gonna go somewhere. So
how important is it having that type of support then for you to be able to?
It's always important. You need a team. I mean, you hear people say they self-made, but at the same time, you can be self-made, but I know that person who's self-made had a team around them, a support system, somebody who was telling them, you can do this, bro. Because if you have somebody that's telling you that you have, I mean, don't get me wrong, that will feed you when you don't have anybody telling you that. But at the same time, you need a support system. Building a team to build an empire is what is great. Doing something by yourself is going to be way harder than doing something together. It's just what it is.
Absolutely, man. You recently changed your name to Moneytown Dub, right?
I was J-Dub at first for years, from I say 2007 to 2022, to 2020.
Okay.
And then I changed my name, and here we are. And that's because I wanted to represent where I'm from a lot, because I'm 30 minutes from Dayton, I'm 30 minutes from Cincinnati. Middletown is each way, north or south. So, and then when you ask people, like, have you ever heard of Middletown? And we in the middle of it. People be like, nah. So I wanted to make sure, like, just to put a stamp on it and, represent Ohio too at a whole. But I wanted people to realize, like, Middletown is great. We the only city in, I think this was a statistic. Yeah, it was a statistic like a few years ago. We're the only city with 2 players that's in the Hall of Fame, in the NBA Hall of Fame, and the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Jerry Lucas and Chris Carter. So I wanted to do something and be the first to do something from Middletown. So, like.
Oh, that's dope right there. I didn't know that, man. So what's the music scene like in Middletown, and what's it like in Cincinnati?
Yeah, music scene in Middletown, it is not one. But no, not to be funny, there's a lot of rappers from Middletown, so, but we all go to Cincinnati or we go to Dayton to do the shows, because that's the places that throw the biggest shows. I mean, when you have artists, the national artists that do come and perform, I mean, the opportunities we get is only in Cincinnati, Dayton, or Columbus, or Cleveland. But Cleveland, 6 hours from me?
Oh, wow,
so,
that's
far.
Yeah,
for a show. But hey, I'll do it. If somebody offered me a show in Cleveland, I'm there. I drove to Atlanta yesterday.
It's that determination,
Yeah.
man.
Got a rental at 7 and drove straight here.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on the music scene in Cincinnati then? And I would say that, like, the talent up there is being overlooked, you know what I'm saying?
It is. I mean, but at the same time, when you're being overlooked, you just have to stand out. That's what you really have to do in order to get people to see you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not to be funny, if you have a bunch of the same type of artists somewhere, it's not gonna stand out for, like, the music scene to even want to come there. Like, I say this a lot, like, if you want people to come here, we gotta go there. Like, I came to Atlanta to make sure that people knew who Moneytown Dub was. I'm going to California to make sure somebody know in California who Moneytown Dub is. So then eventually they come to Ohio to see who Moneytown Dub is.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
No, I understand.
Make them come to you.
Yep.
Make them gravitate towards you. And stop complaining about it. Because if you complain, you wasting more energy complaining about it. Because I done that. I used to be that. I used to be like, damn, there ain't everybody overlooking Ohio. But at the same time, was we working hard enough for people to look at us? Were we? I don't know.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
So what's your creative process like today?
I live life and then I write about it. That's literally it. I don't write about things I don't live. It's hard for me to even conjure up a lie when it comes to writing. It's like, I want whatever I put out, I want people to understand that that's who I am. And I know whatever I'm speaking on, I'm not the only person that's going through it. I know someone else in this world has went through it. eventually, or if they haven't, they could go through it. And when they do go through it, they have this song to work with. Because music heals.
Absolutely.
I feel like music is the best therapy in the world.
Hard to argue that, man.
Yeah.
So how would you explain your growth as an artist, from 2006, 2007, when you first started making music, up until today here on this new album?
It was a time where my brother, he said one day to me, he said, you need to speak more about what you're about. Because, when you're young, you talk about what you see on TV because you really ain't did nothing. You went to school, you went to practice, you went to eat, you went to sleep. It's just what it is as a kid. But when you grow older, you start to realize this world ain't as perfect as everybody, or not even everybody, is what you see on TV. Because, like I said, my music influences was Method Man, Jay-Z, Nas, and all that. So the videos I seen was giving me an image of what I either wanted or what wasn't around me. So you talk about the things that you see, and that's what I was seeing. But it was a time my brother looked at me and was like, talk about you. So I did, and now we're here.
That's what it's all about, about self-expression in your music, man. Absolutely. All right, so life versus love and success.
Yeah.
So first off, just explain that title, why you chose this title for your new album.
There's two things in life that everybody wants: success and love. No matter how it comes, love and success and love. And the only thing that's gonna come in between that is life. Like I said, I took off for 6 years because I had health issues. That's life. I'm not the only person in this world that had tumors, or I'm not the only person in this world who had cancer or even could have died from cancer. You get what I'm saying? Like, I was one of many. So this is life because someone either has went through it or going through it. So, and the things that I want in life is success and love. And that's what the album expresses.
What type of emotions did you go through while recording this album, man?
Actually, the reason I started the album was because I wasn't seeing my kids. Like, I didn't get to see them for like 6 months. It was going through the whole court thing, and so I went through a depression. And there's songs on there, like, it's a song on there called God Got Me. One day I was sitting at my desk working because I work from home, and my mom was like, baby, God got you. And after a while, after hearing that so many times and nothing's changing, it's like, what can you do? So I ended up I wrote that song in like 15 minutes. It's like, the whole process of the album was a roller coaster. Like I said, I recorded for 5 months straight, and then I took 3 months off, and then my engineer called me like, bro, you almost finished with your album, let's get it. And I did. I went into the one studio session and finished the album and was like, we done. And then we had to mix and master it, and then
We see you wearing the merch.
Yep.
Is all of this available online, or?
Actually, this was just for a first press release. I sent it out for, I still have some shirts for people to buy. I just got my website up, so
okay.
It wasn't something that I put on my website because they already almost sold out. I only got like 4 or 5 shirts left, so.
Yeah, I like the hat too, man.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, that shit's dope right there. So how's the feedback been since you put this album out then?
It's doing good. I mean, I'm not getting I won't say like national numbers, but as a person who took 6 years off and just dropped an album out of nowhere, I'm doing pretty good. I probably say I'm getting like 500 plays a week. I mean, as an unknown artist. So, and now once I get these shows and heck, this podcast is gonna do something for me. So, yeah. I mean, but the reviews, I mean, people tell me all the time, like, I hear the emotion, I hear the growth, because they heard my first album that I dropped right before I found out about my tumors, which was called First Floor, and it's only on Bandcamp. Like, I dropped it, and then like 4 weeks later, I was in hospitals.
Oh, wow.
So it was like I didn't even get to promote it much. I did I did like 4 shows in those, or a few shows in those before those weeks before I was in the hospital, and then I stopped promoting it, stopped doing anything for it. And then people still was downloading it until this day. They're like, man, I still listen to First Floor. And I don't even really talk about it much because I grew from that. Like 6 years, like literally 6 years from that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's old to me, so I don't even really pay attention to it. But people still to this day will hit me up like, I'm listening to the First Floor, which is the intro, or a song on there. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy, because that's another thing that really got me back into writing. I was driving into Middletown, because like I said, I live in Cincinnati. and these kids pulled up next to me and they was listening to First Floor. And I was like,
That's dope right there.
I'm like, people still listening to this. And my cousins play it, but these wasn't no family members. These was just kids from the city. So. And then I was like, well, shoot, people still playing me, so let me get back into writing. I thank my boy Donison Flame. He's a rapper from Middletown, because one day he just hit me up. And he was like, you trying to go to the studio? And this is like a little bit after I rode into town and heard these kids. And he was like, you trying to go to the studio with me? Because I was just posting like I want to get back into it. And then he hit me up like, come to the studio with me. Let's do a song. So we did one song, and from there, it just took off.
Yeah, kind of just re-sparked that inspiration, huh?
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the song Growth, Seasons, that's on this album?
Growth, it started with, I have a life coach, and he told me to look out the window, and he said, what do you see, son? And I was looking out the window, and it was fall. It was literally the leaves just start falling. And I was like, the seasons are changing. And he said, yeah, it's changing climates. And that's like literally the first line on what you see, son, changing climates. And he was just telling me like every day people grow. What's happening today, it won't be the same tomorrow. So the leaves are gonna be on the ground tomorrow, so that's change. So you're growing, everything's gonna change for you. Because at that time I was really low. Like I just split with my baby moms, I wasn't seeing my kids, just moved back in with moms, things like that. Like I was 30 back home, things like that. So it was a mental thing. So I was down. So he was like, but you're gonna rise from that. So do it, don't try. Don't try to rise from it, do it. And that was the whole growth, like reading my Bible every day, or reading a script, or reading a quote every day, a motivational quote, or anything, just I was self-aware of where I was and where I wanted to be. I was self-aware that I was here and I wanted to be here. So that's what growth is. Telling you can't get here, get rid of all the negative, just focus on the positive, and you're gonna get to where you wanna be.
That's real right there. Plan to drop any more music videos off this album?
Yes, at least, it's 15 songs on the album. I have one video out now, at least 4 to 5 more videos for this album.
Okay.
Yeah, and then as soon as I get back to Ohio on Monday, I'm going back to the studio and working on my mixtape for the summer.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they always tell me consistency is key. Don't just drop the album and just feel like that's gonna do something, because it's not. I already know that, but it's a start. Like I know that the album was really just to solidify that people knew I was here and that they heard me, because it's different. I'm telling you, it's different. And when you hear it, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so fans not gonna have to wait another 6 years for your next drop.
At all.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be at the end of June.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just gonna be something small, like a 7-song mixtape, if that, 5 to 7. I'm just trying to make sure I do something, just stay active with the pen, because I know more opportunities is gonna come. Because like this interview happened from me winning a contest. It just so happened. Like I looked at the rates on just getting my own interview, and then I was just like, well, how can I get there? I guess a cheaper rate. So I paid the $150 for the contest. It was 30 artists from Cincinnati, and I came out on top. So
that's dope right there, bud. Yeah. What's some advice you would share to the youth coming up right now?
Be yourself. I know everybody say that, but be yourself. It's okay to say no to whatever's that's popular, or what's quote unquote cool. Because whatever's cool to you is cool. Like, it doesn't matter what everybody else think is cool. If that's not cool to you, that's just not cool to you. But what you do, because like I said, my style of music isn't the same as everybody else. But it's cool to me. So if you make it cool, everybody else gonna see that, oh, this shit dope. Then they gonna understand, like, let's listen to this. Let's check out Moneytown Dub. So be who you are. Don't let nobody change you. What happened yesterday. Focus on today and tomorrow. Live your life. again, like I was talking about depression, don't be afraid to talk to anybody. I got a life coach. It took me to have a life coach to realize it's okay to tell people what's going on in your life. If your family ain't listening or your friends ain't listening, talk to God if you got to. He always listening. Trust me. My name Moneytown Dub.
That's real right there. You got any shout outs you'd like to give before we wrap it up here?
Shout out my family back in Middletown. Shout out Moneytown, man. Shout out my manager, Sean. Shout out Jerry Riley. Shout out Deontay. Shout out to everybody back home. I love y'all. Thanks for supporting me. Keep praying for me. I appreciate it all, for real, from the bottom of my heart.
I'm living La Vida with honey. I'm eating like king of the country. It started with Teddy Alito. No sleep in the dungeon. I'm chasing a dream like the money was dreaming.